Okay.
Yeah,
Great to meet you. Where are you located?
I'm in Thailand.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm in the middle of America. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, nice.
So, again, thanks for taking a minute out. I want to begin our conversation before we get into your work. How did you get through the pandemic the last 3.5 years? How did you survive the pandemic? And how has it changed you, if at all?
Well, pandemic was nice because I I research a lot and I'm a homebody. So for me, it was fine. And we just got married at that time and just had our baby. So didn't feel like we were missing out on anything
Yeah.
much. It was it was fine here.
Okay. So,
Yeah, actually, when the pandemic was over, everything kind of commenced, returned back to normal, and it was kind of like now procedures and everything kind of goes back.
so let me ask you this. I know you're a spiritual thought leader, but I want to get to the essence of what you do on a daily basis. So if I put you in front of a bunch of third graders, it's career day, and one of the kids is curious and they ask you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer that child?
I help people be happy.
Okay. So how would you explain what you do to me?
Um, okay, what I would say to you would be it's about for me what I do is about developing the kind of requisite variety of responses within that would allow us to harmoniously and gracefully engage with all the myriads and varieties of life situations that emerge
Yeah.
and come onto your life. Yeah.
So what did you want to be in the third grade when you were a kid? What was your dream to grow up and become?
I think I was more supernatural. So we had many mythic tales of Hanuman and Hanuman carrying the mountains on his back. So I would kind of play act these kind of things and run around
Yeah.
pretending that I'm Hanuman, and yeah, I guess I that's what just showed up, I guess,
Yeah.
in the mind.
So where were you born and raised, and how did these seeds get into you to want to help people and to be a spiritual leader? How did all of this become who you are today?
Well, I was born to a very spiritual oriented family, I would say. So practicing mantras and going to spiritual temples and all of these were kind of like part of life from a very young age. So, but I myself, I guess it always captured my imagination, seeing the books of autobiography of the yogi and all of these books, and seeing some of these images. It would always kind of carry an element of mystique with it, But I guess when I came off of teenage years, and I guess I was 20 or 21 years of that time at that time, and I went to Himalayas for like a spiritual journey, and it's from there I got the inspiration, and it was more so the ambience, the environment that was cultivated, that was kind of manufactured in this sort of a realm of work. So I was like, if I want to do something, I would rather be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
who's been a hero for you in your life, an inspiration?
Um, I would say there are many inspirations. My father himself always kind of valued originality. So he kind of was a big force in bringing that sort of value within me. So I was not really just looking for some sort of steps to follow, but I kind of wanted to create my own path. So I think that kind of had a big impact on shaping who I am today. Yeah.
So what's the best advice that you've ever gotten?
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you do what you always do, you will get what you always got, what you have always got, you know. So you need to do something different if you want something different. So I'm always about looking for choices, no matter how difficult the situation is or challenging the situation is. It's all about if all of this is circumstances, where what is my choices? So it's always about looking for finding levers or places where I can make differences, you know.
Yeah. So there's a lot of
So
people that there's a lot of people that reach out to you for advice, but
yeah,
who is it if you could meet one person on the planet that you find inspirational, who would you love to meet and talk to?
I wish I could meet someone like Nikola Tesla, but I guess that's not an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your inspiration every day? Every day you wake up, you're helping people, you're evolving as a human. What is that inspiration for you to be who you are every day?
I think the inspiration is a genuine sense of curiosity, a genuine sense of curiosity of wanting to know what we really are and where are we in the scheme of all of this and where are we going to? And I mean, there's a lot of speculations about what's going to happen after this and that. But apart from all of that, I mean, we don't really know any individuals who have really been and came back after months or something and just been like, hey, so here's the deal, what's up? And so there's a genuine sense of curiosity and a sense of openness, a sense of um, humility too, I guess, of an attitude of like, I don't know, but I'm really curious to
Yeah.
find out. And I think that makes me really come alive with life. And I think it's very necessary as we grow older to keep that because as people grow older, they tend to find life extremely boring. And one of the main reasons is when you kind of have completely come to a conclusion of you know exactly how things are or how things are gonna be. And then yeah, just things get really boring from then on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What's one of your favorite success stories of helping somebody?
Mm, I worked with this girl who had rheumatoid arthritis. So she got diagnosed with this condition when she was 16 or 17 years of age. And when I met her, she was like 38 years of age. So it was like 21 years later. So she has been, so it's like a deteriorating condition, as you know. So by the time I met her, she barely can walk 100 meters without feeling like a ton of pain all over all her joints and everywhere in her body. So she was depressed for a long period of time and tried so many practices, went for a lot of retreats in India and places like that. So I kind of had a chance encounter with this girl, uh, with someone else in a coffee house because I was taking my wife. She's kind of a stickler for coffee back in the days. So, and this woman, this was an elderly woman. So she called this girl who was in Himalayas and told like, hey, there is someone who I think you would really benefit listening to. So I think you should come back. And I'm in south of India, and she was in the north at that time. So she came back and she wanted to do some hypnotherapy sessions and everything with me. But I said, like, wait a minute, before let's go into therapy session because therapy is never really empowering in the sense that there's a therapist who's doing the work and you're kind of reaping the rewards of the therapist doing the work or something. So it's not very powerful in that sense. So if you could make a transformation by your own capacities, now that's way more empowering than someone doing some sort of change work on you. So I kind of asked her, hey, let's just kind of wait for a week and listen to what I'm sharing, this set of ideas. I would like you to listen to. And if after a week, anyway, you have been struggling with this pain all along, what's one more week, right? So let's just see if you still feel like you want to do therapy, so let's just commence with that. And it just, then the rest was, the story, and it never really came to therapy. And the thing is, she never really got over the pain. It was more about what you cannot be with will not let you be. So she had a really terrible relationship with her pain. So it was more about transforming her relationship with her pain. And yeah, so it was just, I didn't really think I could make so much of a difference given how much she was in pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like surprising at the same time empowering as well. And it gave me the courage to want to kind of really bring it to the world. I was like, okay, this is ready. If she can get help, I think it's good enough for anyone to be reaping rewards from it at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So let me ask you this, of all of the miles and things that you've seen so far in life, if you were to have a dream tonight and you ran into a much younger version of you, say 18-year-old, and you could give that
Hmm.
young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life so far, what advice would you give your younger self?
No, I would, I mean, I kind of did fairly well. But I would still kind of ask myself, as because we are living in a content shock situation currently in the world. There's a lot more content to consume than uh, there is time for us to do it. So I would be, the advice I would give to my younger self would be to make sure that the content that I'm consuming or the information I'm consuming is is very useful. Like put it through the lens of utilitarianism and only consume like that rather than randomly consuming whatsoever piece of information that's out there. And also developing concentration, like putting those kind of things can go a long way.
Yeah.
Uh, Cultivating good concentration and developing systems of capacities within the mind, you know, to move our mind in a variety of different ways and
Yeah.
things like that.
So of all of the things that you've done and become and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
Um, the proudest stuff is the self that I am when I'm in my element of teaching. Yeah, I mean that's the place where I excel at my best. I see there's many facets of life, but the one that I'm really proud of, where the self that I'm really proud of when in relation to it, is just like the self that is mentoring or teaching in that particular context, So
Yeah.
that's something I'm really proud of, like that I cultivated, that I had a vision of like, okay, what sort of a teacher do I want to be? And the last 12 years has been a cultivation of this vision. Yeah, not like a very specific vision, more of a vague vision. Like, yeah,
So, now that we've kind of come out of this pandemic, we're kind of entering a new era of humanity. Do you have hope for people? Do you have hope for humanity that maybe we're entering a new age of enlightenment or new understanding of things?
yeah, we are definitely entering a new age of understanding in relation to where we are and what we are and how we work. And also there is a syncretism going on of of the East and the West, how all of these things are connected, like, the parables in Bible, like Jacob's ladder being an allegory for the human spine, and the 33 uh, ladders being a representation for the 33 vertebrae. And, like a load of understanding that was just not really in the realm of thinking, so the expound of technology and where we are, what we can know at the tip of our fingers.
Yeah.
This is incredible. So, and we are living in an extremely complex world, because back in the days, people living together, they will all have more or less the same kind of ideas in their head about what is true and what is not, and stuff like that. Because now people can coexist within one small house, and everyone can have completely different maps of the world that they are carrying in
Yeah,
their head. Yeah, so it's interesting.
it
It's all
is.
becoming increasingly complex, and it is nice because it challenges our mind, because mind likes control, ego likes to control, and control becomes like a not a possibility at all the more complex things
Yeah.
becomes. So so it is nice. It challenges the mind, and to transcend, to evolve, to become better at the game.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you, your family, your friends, your clients, everyone that knows you, but you ultimately are in control. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Mm. Who do I think I am? On the level of autobiography itself, like on the bell, or on sort of a deep, because it's like a deep question.
It is, and
Who
I
do
guess it's more just the idea that everyone out there sees you in a certain light. They all
mm,
have this role that you play in their lives, but you are ultimately the one that's in control of everything that you are. So just what's your perception of who you think you are, what you're projecting to the world?
I think I'm a co-creation with everyone. That's what, at this point, with keen observation, that's what I'm noticing. There are so many different versions of me, but for the easiness of communication, I would just say me, put it all into one box, I guess.
Yeah.
But we all know that's not the case. I mean, we come to different groups of people, and we have completely different mannerisms and attitudes and makeups, and just the phenomenology of being is very different when it comes to completely different people. So we know we are so many different people.
Yeah.
It all depends on the context and what emerges, and then we can see.
Yeah. I dig it. Yeah, no, I get it. So let me ask you this. If anyone out there wants to hire you, learn more about you, reach out to you, how do they do that? What's the best way?
They can reach out to through my website, reach out through my Instagram, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, excellent. How do you pronounce your name correctly?
Sanal
Okay. And then what's your middle and last name? How do you say it correctly?
Bhanu Rajan.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I always want to make sure. Sanal, this has been wonderful. Thank you very much for your time today. Have a wonderful new year, wonderful 2024.
Yeah, thank you. No, I really appreciated the just sharing. You
Yeah.
were very concise and very, you know, very crisp and concise in your questions.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.